So guys, in this video, I'm going to be reading my letter of intent for my Ireland Visitors Visa application. So last year, I applied for a tourist visa to Ireland, a short stay visa to Ireland. And I have made a video about the visa application questions and answers. I took you guys along when I went to do my biometric capture. I also did a video on this channel and I've been getting a lot of questions. And I kind of feel like I'm going to be answering those questions in a series of videos. And today, I'm going to be reading my letter of intent. I did a video talking about how to write a letter of intent for any visit or tourist visa application, but this video we're going to go in depth. I'm literally going to read what I wrote, the letter that I submitted that I got the visa. I'm going to read it for you guys. This video is sponsored by Lemfi. Lemfi is a financial platform that allows you to send money from the UK, US, Canada to Nigeria and other African countries like Tanzania, Rwanda, Kenya, and a host of other African countries. So with Lemfi app, you can send money directly to banks and mobile money accounts within minutes with zero transfer fees. I have used Lemfi a lot of times and I guarantee you it is zero transfer fees and it's actually very fast. Like if you send money right now, the recipient receives the money immediately. It's not like the money would wait for hours or the next day to deliver. It goes immediately and it is zero transfer fees. So if you haven't yet used Lemfi, what you can do is go to the description box, use the link in the description box to download the Lemfi app, register your details, and when you use my referral code Couscous, you would get £5 reward for your first transfer and up to £15 cash back if you send up to £100 and more for the first time. See, you're sending money and you're also receiving money with Lemfi. So use Lemfi today and let's get back into this video. For Ireland short stay visa, you have an option for single entry or multiple entry. I love people usually say, oh, if you're applying for a tourist visa for the first time, they can only give you single entry. Lie. Don't believe whatever you hear on the internet. But you can believe whatever I tell you. Believe me, but always verify on the website. Rules do change regularly, and when it has to do with visa issues, it is always based on the person's circumstances. So I might have applied for multiple stay visa for the first time and I get it, but you could apply and you will not get it, and that's not because I'm lying. It's because your circumstances are different from mine. Okay, that's the disclaimer out of the way. So I'm just gonna go straight to read the letter of intent. If you have any questions at the end of this video, let me know. Before I read the letter of intent, I do have a document here that I downloaded after I applied for my visa, and it is the visit visa checklist. So after I submitted my visa application, I downloaded this checklist. This is the checklist that you will use to guide you so that you know all the documents that you need to take to the visa application center. In this case, it was VFS office in London. If you haven't watched that video, go and watch it because I explained everything that happened on the biometric capture day, so it will help you. I'm going to just tell you guys what you should include in your letter of intent. Why did they need you to write your letter of intent? So apart from the fact that you're going to be submitting other documents, the letter of intent is there for you to be able to prove the purpose of your travel. So it says here they need a signed letter giving full details of the reason for your visit to Ireland, whether it's for holidays or for visiting family and friends. And yes, you're just going to say the reason for your visit, but because there are other documents they need you to provide, it's always nice for you to put in everything, to tie in everything in your letter. For instance, you can prove in your letter if you're self-employed or not. Of course, there are other documents that you use, but you should also mention that in your letter. You should also mention where you would stay, because they have asked here that they need to see your proof of accommodation. Now, you should also mention in your letter of intent where you're going to stay. I know I'm going to be reading this letter because I used it to apply for Ireland tourist visa, but I've also advised a lot of people, I've guided a lot of people in their application for UK visa. I've guided them in how to write their letters of intent, and other people I've guided, they always get their visa. So if you need guidance on visa application, you know who to call. My email is in the description box. My Instagram is always in this video, so you can always slide into my DM and you're going to enjoy the services that I offer with regards to guidance. I do not make visa applications for people, but I will guide you based on your circumstances. And what you need to know is that visa applications, there is nothing that is cast in stone. You could have the same circumstances with another person and you will get the visa and that person will be rejected. Those are the things you should take into account. So there's also evidence of funds. Evidence of funds is where you're going to submit your bank statement, but it's always also nice to include it in your letter of intent, to say something about it. When I read my letter of intent, you're going to see how I tied in all of these requirements so that once they read the letter, they know that I have all the things they needed. If you're yet to subscribe to this channel, please subscribe. And if you have any questions regarding Ireland Visitor Visa visa application. See, I understand the fact that that website is very, very confusing. It is difficult. The user interface is not friendly at all. So I kind of understand if you guys are struggling, because I did struggle when I was making my applications. But I'm here to help, okay? Whatever I can do to help and make your journey easy, I will do that, okay? Which is why you should subscribe and like this video and also share it. And when you're done watching this video, you can go through the channel and see the video where I took you guys with me when I was actually making my Island Visitors visa application. Now let's go to the letter of intent, okay? Of course, the rules of letter applies. My address is on the right and the address of the visa office is on the left. So after my address, like Kuseme Ise, my address, my postcode, and the date, and then the address of the visa application center. What you need to know is that you're submitting your visa application to the visa application center. The official visa application center will now either take your application to the embassy to process, depending on their capacity. So some visa application centers would have officers that would actually consider the visa application, but most often than not, they are always the middlemen. So they are the middlemen between you and the embassy, okay? So this letter is going to go to the VFS office, which is the visa office that was in London. So I'm just going to read it. So the address that I have here, the address could change because they could change the office address, but you would see their official address on the website where they're going to tell you where to go, where to submit your visa documents and all of that. So I have here, let me start again. So my address in the right, Kuseme Ise, my address, my postcode, and the date. The visa officer, Visa Office, Embassy of Ireland, 114A Cromwell Road, London. Actually, the address actually sounds so much like my address. My former address, because this letter was in my former address, it was Cromwell Road. Now, their own address is Cromwell Road. What's the difference? Anyways, so the visa officer, Visa Office, Embassy of Ireland, 114A Cromwell Road, London, and then the postcode. So if you're writing this letter for any other embassy that is not Ireland, of course you'll get the embassy address from their official website. So I said, dear sir / madam, purpose and intention of traveling to the Republic of Ireland, because that's what they're asking for. Put the caption there so once they open the letter they know what it's about. So that's the caption. I made that in bold, and I said, my name is Kuseme Ise and I am a UK resident working as a contracts manager at my employer. I intend to travel to the Republic of Ireland for tourism purposes on 26th of May 2023 and to leave on 29th of May 2023. When I arrive, I will be residing at Aberdeen Lodge, located at 53 to 55 Park Avenue, Dublin, D4, Ireland, and I have attached the reservation confirmation email for your reference. If you watch my Irish application video, you would see that this address, I just went to booking.com to reserve it. I did not stay here, but you need an address to put in your application form. So I went to make this reservation. First of all, I didn't even travel on this date, because once you get your visa, you can travel whenever you want within your visa date or your approved visa period. So you don't always have to travel within this period, but you need a tentative date and where you're going to stay. And the thing is, I was not going to go and book a hotel and pay for it when I don't know if you're going to give me visa. So I went to booking.com. I made this reservation, which was booked on hold. I didn't have to pay. So you can do that on booking.com and maybe other similar websites. You can also include the address of your family member if it is a family member or friend that is inviting you. That there's absolutely no problem. But what I did there in the first paragraph is that I identified when I was going into the country and when I was leaving, which is very important. You don't want them to start guessing how long is she staying, when is she coming in, when is she leaving. You want that very clear in your letter. I identified where I was going to stay, which is the accommodation is required. I also in the first paragraph said my name and where I work, just so you know that I have a job where I'm coming from. Okay, I'm not a hoodlum. I'm not going to overstay in your country. I'm only just coming to see what you guys are like and just come back to my base. So it's good. It gives a good introduction, so they know that this person is employed in the UK, is working in the UK, and that's a nice introduction. So that was the first paragraph. Now we go to the second paragraph. The second paragraph is, I have the financial means to pay for my trip as evidence in my bank statement attached to this application. My bank has certified my most recent 3 months bank statement, which covers the period from 1st February 2023 to 13th April 2023. I have, however, added an internet copy bank statement of 3 additional months from November 2022 to January 2023. That's because I'm just extra. I know I'm extra. So let me explain myself. Ideally, the official government website recommends that you submit a certified 3 months of your bank statement to prove that you can afford the trip. If you go to the Irish government website, you're going to see that they do not recommend a specific amount of money. Let me even go there just so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So this is in the document checklist. The document checklist number 13 says evidence of funds. Please note that there is no set amount of funds that will result in the approval or refusal of your application. A lot of people have asked me, Couscous, how much should I put in my bank account? I don't know. I'm not a visa officer, okay? These are just guidance that they give you. So they're saying there is no set amount that they will use to determine whether to give, approve, or refuse your visa. Now, the visa officer will decide whether you have enough funds based on your individual circumstances. Your up-to-date bank statement for the 3-month period immediately prior to your application, showing most recent transactions for the account, including any salary or other regulatory income up to the date of your application. This must be original or a printout which has been stamped by a branch of your bank. This is why I mentioned in the letter that I have attached a certified copy of my bank statement. Certified means stamped by your bank. It's not an online copy. I understand that some countries are more flexible than others, but I consider Irish visa application process very uptight, which is why I had to walk to my bank, print out the form and have them stamp it. So because I'm extra, I got a 3-month stamp because my bank did tell me that they will only stamp 3 months. Because when I went to ask them for 6 months, but they told me that they will only stamp 3 months bank statement for me, which was why they stamped. And they said if I wanted them to stamp 6 months, I'll have to pay, and then it will take them maybe a week or 2. I was like, give me the 3 months. I need the 3 months for free. I like free things. So I collected the 3 months that was stamped. I went my way and I went to print the other 3 months, which made everything 6 months. But because what they officially needed was 3 months, it was fine. But because I'm extra, I added extra for them so that they will not think that I'm broke and I was just borrowing money to put in the following 3 months just so that I would get the visa. So 3 months is enough, okay? 3 months is enough. So they're saying the bank statement must be stamped by the branch of your bank. It must show your current address. It must show availability of sufficient funds to cover the cost of your proposed trip. People tell me, Couscous, how much? How much should I put in my bank statement? This is how you know how much you should put. It says lump sum lodgements made shortly before your application will not be considered. Can you imagine? Don't guys start borrowing money? Actually, let me give you guys a tip. If I know that I'm going to be making an application in the next 3 months, a visa application in the next 3 months, I try to let money sit in my bank account. I use my credit card, I use other cash, whatever, but I try to let money sit in that bank account so that by the time I print it, it doesn't just show like I put money yesterday. I put money. So they're saying lump sum lodgements made shortly before your application will not be considered. In the event that you are being supported by a spouse, partner, or member of your family, they should provide an original signed and dated letter stating that they are undertaking to support you during your trip to Ireland. Bank statements to the same criteria as described above. Evidence of their relationship to you like marriage certificate, photocopies of any bank statement you want returned to you. Now, because they don't tell you how much you should lodge, usually you can go to Google and say, what is the cost of living in Ireland? What's the daily cost of living in Ireland? So for instance, you go to maybe a few websites, 1 or 2, there are websites that would usually share this information. We have some in the UK. Each country have these websites that share this information. Cost of living. So what you can do is just go to, I said daily cost of living in Ireland. And if you see like 100 euros, that means how many days are you staying in Ireland? Oh, you're staying for 7 days. Automatically that tells you 700 euros. However, if you say that you're lodging in Aberdeen Lodge, like I said, I'm lodging in Aberdeen Lodge and I have reserved this accommodation, it means accommodation is sorted, right? So I don't need to show you guys that I have money to pay for accommodation because I've already paid. If you've not paid for accommodation, that's fine. But if you've paid for accommodation, it means you can afford to put less money. If you're going, instead of 700, you can put less. However, you need to know that it is always better to put much more than they require so that there are no stories, okay? I think I've done enough with this money issue. If you still have any questions, let me know in the comment section because I get a lot of questions about how much. Even for UK visa, they don't tell you how much, but you just have to use your discretion. You're going to spend money on transportation. You're going to spend money on food. You're going to spend money on the hotel bills. If you're going to be sponsored by a family member, these are the same things that the family member would say in the bank statement or in the letter that they are giving you, okay? So you just have to show that you have enough money and you have more than enough than is required because they don't want you to come to their country and be stranded. Okay, let's continue. So that was the second paragraph of my letter, which I talked about. My bank statement is from this month to this month. It is certified. I have the money. It is in the bank statement that is attached, and the bank statement has been certified or stamped. And this is the month that the bank statement reads for. Because I wanted to go to Ireland in May, I was applying for this visa on the 14th of April. So my bank statement started from 13th of April backwards, 3 months backwards, because they need you to provide a recent bank statement. Now, the next paragraph is this. This 4-day trip will allow me to discover Ireland's rich historic and cultural heritage, as well as the country's most popular attractions. Remember, they're asking you, why are you coming to Ireland? And I've told you I'm coming to Ireland on so and so day. I have the money. So what am I coming to do? That's what I'm trying to explain. So I said the 4-day trip will allow me to discover Ireland's rich historical and cultural heritage, as well as the country's most popular attractions. I intend to visit the National Gallery, the Museum of Literature, the Guinness Factory, the Dublin Zoo, and the renowned Dublin Castle. I'm particularly interested in visiting the esteemed Trinity College Dublin and the celebrated Christ Church Cathedral. Now, let me tell you guys all the places that I visited. I will just chop him out in this application. Doesn't mean I'm going to visit all of those. And I've not been to Ireland before, so you're going to say, Cuz, how do you know where you're going to go? Go to Google. That's why we have Google. Go and browse tourist attractions, tourist sites. Don't be making you a shallow application like you don't know what you're doing with your life. You have to show that you know. You think that I knew all these places I was writing? I was just boboing them, my dear. Let me now tell you where I went. I probably named like 10 places here, but let me tell you where I went. I went to Christ Church Cathedral. I went to Trinity College Dublin, and I went to Guinness Factory. The rest should go and sleep. What's my business? But you're just trying to justify that you're coming to their country, and because most tourist attractions, you spend money and all of that, you're trying to show them that I got the money. As I'm coming to your country, I'm going to be giving you money. Okay? You're not going to lose money because you have me. You're going to gain money. So they need to give you that visa. Anyways, that's very easy. It's always easy for you to show where you're going to visit. Just put a few tourist attractions here and there. This is my last paragraph, and I think the last paragraph is the most important. Oh, my battery is going to die. God, it's about to die. It's about to die. Oh, Lord. I'm going to read this until the battery dies. Let's just see. The last paragraph says, I commit to obeying the conditions of my visa in full and will not rely on public services or become a burden to the country. I will ensure to leave Ireland before my immigration permission expires and will return to the United Kingdom to resume at my place of employment, so that you will not think that I don't have work. I have work. I am not the one paying me. Now, listen to this other one. I have attached my employment offer letter, pay slip, and tenancy agreement to show my strong economic ties to the United Kingdom. Now, if you go through the document checklist, you're going to see that they're asking for your employment letter, they're asking for a tenancy agreement. They say if you're self-employed, you have to show your company documentation and everything, because they want to see that you have economic ties to your country, that there's something that will take you back, that there's something holding you in that country that you're coming from, such that you'll be compelled to go back. That's why I explained all of that. And I said, I'm seeking for a multiple entry visa since Ireland has so many amazing attractions that one short trip won't be enough to see them all. I was now boboing them. I was not trying to tell them that your country is fine, I want to come back over and over again. So, but only add this if you're looking for a multiple entry visa. If you're applying for a single entry, you don't need that. And then I said, I hope my application is accepted and I'm looking forward to an exciting time in Ireland. So you see, yours faithfully, Kusema Ise. That's literally what I did. I submitted. When I went to the visa application center, I had to write a few things because they said my letter of employment should have been like a recent letter from my HR. So I now had to like do a little scribble saying that I cannot come back. If I narrated the story in the video that I talked about my experience. So guys, that's how you write a letter of intent, a compelling letter of intent that will not allow them to refuse you that visa. Now you need to know that just the letter of intent is not going to get you a visa, okay? You have to make sure that all your documentations are correct and everything they ask you to do, you have done. If they want a recent document, make it recent. Don't just say that, okay, whatever you put in your letter of intent is going to help convince them. Yes, your letter of intent is a very big part in helping to convince the visa officer to grant you the visa, but it's not in isolation. They are going to put everything together to make that decision. I wish you guys the very best in your visa application. And if you're looking to apply for Ireland Visitors Visa, make sure you look at this video where I shared Ireland Visitors Visa application process, the questions and the step-by-step from application all the way to submission. I'll catch you guys in my next video. Let me know if this video is helpful. Put it in the comment section, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. If you're yet to subscribe, I don't even know what you're waiting for. Do subscribe and drop a comment, like this video, and share to anybody that you know. It will help. Bye guys. Bye.